Are you angry with yourself for some of the choices you made? Do you question how you ended up with your toxic ex or how you stayed in that dynamic for so long? Well, what you have to remember is that you didn't choose your ex, your trauma did. And when we can learn to understand this, we can learn to forgive ourselves. My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach. I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse, and I also offer twin flame and spiritual guidance. This is the thing. You didn't choose to be in a toxic relationship. And, oftentimes we blame ourselves for that, or even other people say, oh, you chose that situation. You didn't choose it. Your trauma did. We attract people into our lives based on our level of wounding. So if we're in an inner child wounded space, we're going to end up attracting things that hurt us or reflect our unworthiness. And this is what happens. We all have some kind of childhood trauma, especially if we have attracted toxic relationships. It is a reflection of our wounding. And for me, I was abandoned as a child by my mother. So therefore I felt so unworthy of love. And also the model of love I had seen growing up led me to attract toxic relationships. This is the thing, we didn't seek out to be in these relationships. And, this really upset me at one stage because I remember my dad turned around, you chose to be with him. I was like, I chose to be with him because of my fucked up childhood. So effectively, if I wanted to blame anyone, I could blame my parents, but I don't fucking do that. You know what I mean? But I actually ended up blaming myself. And we hold so much anger and resentment towards ourselves for the choices that we made. And this came up, anyone at the moment, we're all going through a lot of past trauma, healing. Everything from our past is resurfacing again. And a lot of our dynamics from our relationships, we're being reminded of those. But it's only because we're to release them. And I came across photos of my exes lately, but I was watching some videos, from back 10 years ago. And I started to get so angry, not angry at my ex, but angry at myself, angry at my past self. How did you stay in that relationship so long? How did you not see the red flags? Because even, through some of the videos, I was like, oh, it's just completely toxic. How did I not see this before? And, I was so angry with myself. Why did you stay there that long? How did you love him? How did you do this? And then I was like, hold on a second. Take a step back. She didn't know, that version of me didn't know what red flags were, didn't know what toxicity was, because I grew up with an unhealthy model of love anyway. And I was fucking wounded. So wounded. I was really fucking wounded. When you're not aware of your wounds or not aware of your trauma, you're not aware of what toxicity looks like. So you don't see red flags. It's not that it's not that there's anything wrong with you or that you did anything wrong. You just didn't see it. And we have these blinkers on. When we're in the trauma bubble, I've done a video about this before, being in a trauma bubble. When you're in the trauma bubble, you don't see around you. You've got tunnel vision and all you see is inside. And it's like you're in these walls of protection, and all you have is this little tiny little hole that you look out of, because you're there you're huddling under the blankets, you're scared of life, you're scared of everything, you're scared of being hurt, you're scared of fear, you've got a fear of rejection, you've got a fear of abandonment. So literally you're always on this fight or flight energy, you're always protecting yourself, and all you see is what's in front of you. So when you're in that bubble, you don't see the red flags. But as I said as well, you don't understand the red flags, because all you know is this is what love is supposed to look like. And being abused or being treated like shit, you effectively feel like, oh, that's the way it's supposed to be. So this is it. And so I had to literally take a moment to pause and say to myself, why am I being angry with a vulnerable girl? The past version of myself was in pain. She was wounded. She had inner child trauma, and she didn't choose the relationships, her trauma did. And I had to sit back and forgive her. And this is what a lot of what keeps us stuck or keeps us from moving forward is that inner resentfulness or inner hatred. Forgiveness, right? Forgiveness is not for the other person. It's for you. It's for your healing. But oftentimes we can forgive when we learn how to forgive and learn why we forgive. It's not condoning the behavior. It's letting go of the pain it has over you. So I actually forgave my exes before I forgave myself, because I didn't even know I needed to forgive myself. And I shouldn't have needed to forgive myself because I didn't do fucking anything wrong. Do you know, that kind of way? But I actually, there was such anger still inside me, such resentment still inside me. And what came up for me and what bubbled up for me was realizing that I held a lot of that anger towards myself. And then being reminded of all my 2 past relationships over the last few months, I was just like, still so angry towards her. And I was like, oh my God. Like, you know, if you saw a friend and they were in a relationship with a toxic person, you'd hold compassion for them. You know, you'd understand what was going on. And you wouldn't turn around and go, you're fucking stupid for being in this relationship. You'd see that person was wounded and you'd try and help them. But, you know, why are we treating our past selves like shit? We wouldn't treat another human being like shit. So why are we treating our past selves like shit? And this is what it is. So I had to look back and I had to understand why she made those choices. And she didn't, you don't go out and go, ooh, I'm going to choose a narcissist. You don't even fucking know what a narcissist is. You literally go out and you end up attracting somebody who takes advantage of you because of your wounding. You know what I mean? And it takes advantage of you because of your personality as well. Like, you know, they don't take advantage of you because you're weak. They take advantage of you because they want what you have. But in doing so, they kind of enhance your trauma wound. And this is the thing. With narcissistic relationships or toxic relationships, controlling relationships, they just enhance what your inner child is feeling. So if you felt abandoned as a child, and I said this before, you do not need to be physically abandoned by a parent to have abandonment wounds or rejection wounds. Abandonment can come from physical abandonment, can come from the death of a parent, can come from your parents being angry and, you know, volatile in the relationship. It can come from substance abuse if your parents had any kind of addictions, or it can come from any kind of lack of affection. So if your parents weren't able to give you the affection that you needed, that can lead to rejection and abandonment as well. So all of this can lead to trauma. And like, you know, so many times we can look back, and I remember even saying this, my childhood was grand, you know, everything was fine. And then like when you actually go back and dissect it, you're like, oh, okay, it was fine in the middle of all the fucked up bits. Do you know what I mean? So like you'll actually start to see that there was something within your childhood that led you to feel that fear of abandonment and rejection. And we carry that on. We carry that into our relationships. And because we end up attracting narcissistic relationships or toxic relationships, we end up having the unworthiness wound reinforced. So we feel that we're not good. Like for me personally, I did not spend my life thinking I was unworthy of love. Did not even know what that meant. Didn't have a clue until I started inner child healing. And when I realised how unworthy I felt like because my mother left, my inner child solely blamed herself. Now, I believe that any kind of toxicity within a family dynamic, any kind of substance abuse, aggression, any kind of that kind of, or physical abandonment will lead to at least one of the children blaming themselves unconsciously. I literally blamed solely myself. So I spent 30 plus years of my life thinking that my mother left me because I was unlovable. I did not know this until I did inner child healing. So me feeling I was unlovable and seeing a toxic model of love growing up, I attracted what I knew. I attracted what I felt. I attracted that unworthy, that low vibration energy. And that's what the toxic partner does. It reinforces your belief that you're unworthy. They pick on you. They make you feel small. They take away every essence of who you are, and they reinforce the fact that you feel like a piece of shit. And that's it. But like, you do not choose this. And I come back to this again. You did not choose to be with this person. Your trauma did. And the reason you stayed so long was because of your trauma. It is harder to get out of something the longer you're in it. And that's a fact. Do you know, if you're not aware of red flags, if you're not aware of this toxicity, the relationship is going to continue. If your unworthiness wound is that big, the relationship is going to continue. Because every time they come back with a little bit of love bombing, you're like, oh thank God, they're not going to leave me. I'm not going to be on my own again. I'm not going to be abandoned. I'm not going to be deserted. And this is the thing. And like, you know, you ask yourself how you stayed there so long. You had to stay there that long to learn the lesson. This is the thing. I used to give out to myself. I was like, how did I spend nearly 8 years with this guy? How the fuck did I not see for 8 years? And then I realized I wasn't allowed to see it. We have to go through things for a certain amount of times to learn the lessons. And the quicker we learn, the quicker the relationship is over. So like my first one was 8 years. My second toxic relationship was 1.5 years. And the third one was only 2 months. This is the difference. I had learned my lessons quicker. I became more aware quicker. I became aware of my wounding quicker. And this is it. When you're in the dynamic for so long, it's because you're still in that trauma bubble. You're not choosing it. You're not stupid. And this is the thing as well. They take away every bit of your power anyway. So even though you weren't aware anyway that there was such a thing as red flags even, or that this was a toxic dynamic, they make you feel so useless and codependent that you end up having to stay for a long period of time. This is the thing with the controlling or toxic relationships. They make you feel that you cannot live without them because they take away your power to do absolutely anything. And as well as that, they isolate you. So you cannot get, advice from friends or family or anything like that. But also they make you feel so fucking shitty, reinforce that unworthiness wound, that they make you believe that no one will ever want you anyway. So this is another reason when we're in this trauma that we continue to stay in that relationship, because we're going through this energy of that person is the only person that's going to ever love me. And that's not love, obviously, but we think that's love. And we think if we leave them, we're going to be left on our own forever. We're going to be abandoned again. We're going to be rejected again. And no one is ever going to love us because we're a piece of fucking shit. That's effectively how we feel. So we have to start to see that none of what we went through was our fault. It was due to our childhood trauma and due to the narcissist or controlling partner reinforcing that trauma. So what do we do now? We have to learn to forgive ourselves for this. We didn't do anything wrong. We don't need forgiveness, but we believe that we did. We're hard on ourselves for making those choices. We're hard on ourselves for staying so long. We're hard on ourselves for not seeing those red flags. We're hard on ourselves for allowing ourselves to... You see, there's the word I used to use. I allowed myself to be put through this. That's not the right word. That's not it. You didn't allow it. Your trauma allowed it. This is the thing. So we have to take a step back and understand you did not make this choice. Your trauma did. And you need to learn that you can forgive yourself for this as well. This is the most important thing. Forgive yourself for your past mistakes, because they weren't mistakes, they were mistakes. You have to make these mistakes in order to grow, in order to learn. We wouldn't be the people we are now if we hadn't have experienced what we did. We wouldn't be as strong as we are now if we didn't experience what we did. We wouldn't be aware of red flags and out of our trauma bubble and know what toxicity is if we didn't experience what we did. And that's a fact. Do you know, we are stronger. We're not victims anymore. We're survivors. We're warriors. We got through that. That's another thing to remember. You might have spent a long time in those dynamics, maybe feeling weak, maybe feeling vulnerable, maybe feeling unworthy, but you got out of it. You got the fuck out. That takes strength. And you got out when you were at your weakest. That's fucking strength. When you can leave something, when it really takes all of who you are, that's power. So forget about who you were prior to that relationship or during that relationship. See who you are now because of it. The strength you had to leave it. Do you know what I mean? So instead of being hard on yourself for being in the relationship, be proud of yourself for getting the fuck out of it and for becoming who you are now today and using your lessons to grow, learn, and help the next person. This is the important thing. So thank yourself, forgive yourself, and love yourself. You did not choose this, your trauma did. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you'd like help on your journey, please book me for a free discovery call today. There's nothing more than to help on your path. Also, I'm hosting a free feminine empowerment workshop this week, Wednesday at 6 p.m. Ireland UK time. If you want information about that, please comment below. It's just for us ladies to get together and support each other. It's a monthly kind of meet-up so we can all heal together. Also, I have another channel called Aligning with Angie where I share guided meditation every week. The info for that is in the description box.